Hello, we welcome you to today's Bible study, a Bible study of the Banking Blessings Ministry. Today's Bible study will look at David's departure, the first thing that David did when he departed from Saul. We remember from the last Bible study that David found that Saul was determined to kill him. He went to his friend Jonathan, Saul's son, and complained. Jonathan at first doubted it because he thought he had negotiated a peace between David and Saul. But David explained to him that yes, his father did want to kill him, but that two of them could verify to find out whether his father was determined to kill him, whether Saul was determined to kill him, or whether he has misread something. So David and Jonathan planned a way to verify this. There was a festival in which David was supposed to be part of the king's table. For 2 days he wasn't there, and he and Jonathan planned that he won't be there, that he will be missed at the table, and then Jonathan would try to make an excuse for him. Then, depending on how Saul responded to that excuse, they would determine whether Saul was in fact willing to change his mind or he was determined to kill David. So at the festival, of course, David was missing. Jonathan tried to make an excuse for David as they agreed, and Saul got really, really angry at David as well as at Jonathan. And it was there that he told Jonathan that as long as David was alive, that his kingdom would never be established. Jonathan realized that his father was determined to kill David. So the next morning, he went to the agreed place. He and David met. He told David that yes, his father was determined to kill him. So they said their goodbyes, they prayed for each other. Jonathan went back home, and David left Saul's service for good. The first thing that David did after he left Saul's service, he realized, yes, Saul was determined to kill him. He had to do something about it. He had to prepare to protect himself from Saul. How would he protect himself? The first thing he needed to do was build a team around him. So today's Bible study is really about David's team building. How he built a team, the first things he did to get himself ready to build a team, and then what kind of team he built. We will learn that, of course, David departed from Saul because Saul was determined to kill him, and then David sought to build a team to protect himself from Saul. We will learn that he was joined by people that needed relief under the government of Saul. We'll find out what kind of people they were. But he focused on letting them know that he could help them as they helped him. So for him, the focus was letting people know what he could do for them, how they could benefit from the team that he was going to build. Everything we are going to study today will come from 1 Samuel chapters 21 and 22. We begin with David's first task after leaving Saul. David knew Saul was determined to kill him. He departed, left Saul. We already went through that. He needed to build a team. But to build a team, the first thing is he needed to get some food and supplies where he was going to stay. He needed some weapon, and he needed people. Most important, he needed a place where he could be far from Saul, where Saul would not reach him easily. So he set out to accomplish all of this. The first place he went was to a place called Nob, where he met a priest called Ahimelech. Nob was like the priest city. Almost everybody in this city was a priest. So he went to Ahimelech. Now Ahimelech, he said, one of the priests that worked under Saul for sure. So he was loyal to Saul. He knew about David as a servant of Saul, and he knew that with his status in the king's palace, wherever David was outside, there were people with him. So when Ahimelech saw that David was alone, he was concerned. He asked David, "Why are you alone? What is going on?" But David concealed his mission. He didn't want Ahimelech to know that he had any problem with Saul. He just wanted to get whatever he could get from Ahimelech and proceed. He asked him for he asked him for food. Ahimelech said the only type of bread they had was holy bread. He gave to David whatever he could give him from that holy bread. Then David asked him for weapon, any kind of weapon he had, and he said, "Oh yeah, of course, we have Goliath's sword. You remember you killed him in the valley of Elah. So that sword is still with us in the Lord's care. I can give it to you if you want." And David said, "Yes, this is a good one. Give it to me." While all this was going on, there was a servant of Saul that was detained at the priest's place. His name was Dog, from the place from Edom. Edom was not part of Israel. These were Esau's descendants. So Dog the Edomite, a servant of Saul, was in the priest's house when this happened. And he witnessed the interaction between David and Ahimelech. We'll see the importance of this later on in the story. But right now, let us read 1 Samuel 21, verses 1 through 9.
David went to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. Ahimelech trembled when he met him and asked, "Why are you alone? Why is no one with you?" David answered Ahimelech the priest, "The king charged me with a certain matter and said to me, 'No one is to know anything about your mission and your instructions. As for my men, I have told them to meet me at a certain place. Now then, what do you have on hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread or whatever you can find.' But the priest answered David, 'I don't have any ordinary bread on hand. However, there is some consecrated bread here, provided the men have kept themselves from women.' David replied, 'Indeed, women have been kept from us, as usual, whenever I set out. The men's things are holy even on missions that are not holy. How much more so today?' So the priest gave him the consecrated bread, since there was no bread there except the bread of the presence that had been removed from before the Lord and replaced by hot bread on the day it was taken away. Now one of Saul's servants was there that day, detained before the Lord. He was Doeg the Edomite, Saul's head shepherd. David asked Ahimelech, "Don't you have a spear or a sword here?" "I haven't brought my sword or any other weapon, because the king's business was urgent." The priest replied, "The sword of Goliath, the Philistine, whom you killed in the valley of Elah, is here. It is wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If you want it, take it. There is no sword here but that one." David said, "There is none like it. Give it to me."
So David collected some food, and he collected the weapon, the sword, and then he moved on. But before we look at what David did next, I want us to ask, why did he conceal his mission from Ahimelech? Why did he lie to Ahimelech? Why did he tell him something different? Well, David understood that Ahimelech had to be loyal to Saul. He's one of the priests that worked under Saul. The hierarchy at that time was that the priests took care of spiritual matters that were responsible to the king. So he has to be loyal to, he has to tell Saul the truth. He has to tell Saul everything he knows. So David wanted to protect the priest. He wanted to protect Ahimelech from knowledge of his flight from Saul, because he didn't want Ahimelech to have to lie to Saul in order to protect him, David. He wanted Ahimelech to be able to tell Saul the truth, but at the same time not be able to reveal that he had contact with David. He had done something for David that will make Saul angry. The intention was to protect Ahimelech from information that he did not need to know. He had no need to know that Saul and David, or that David was on the run from Saul, that Saul and David had some kind of disagreement. So the important thing here is that David considered the realities around Ahimelech in dealing with him. He realized that he needed help from Ahimelech, that he did not want to do something that would make Ahimelech lose favor from Saul. He didn't want that to happen. And I think that is the reason why he concealed his mission, collected some food that he could collect, took the sword, and then left. As far as Ahimelech knows, he did nothing unusual. He was supposed to do that for Saul's people, his servants and his children. So next, David went to Achish, the king of Gath. This is Philistine territory. Gath was under Philistines, and Achish was a Philistine king. What David wanted to do actually was to seek refuge. He wanted to be able to lay low, sort of, to stay there, so that Saul might not, to keep himself away from Saul, to give him time to think of how to put together a team. What he didn't know was that Achish's servants knew him. They recognized him. They said, "Oh, isn't this the man for whom the women sang? The man that killed Goliath, and the women sang that, oh, David had killed him. Saul had killed his thousands and David his tens of thousands." So once David once he realized that the servants of Achish recognized him, he knew that he couldn't stay there. He didn't know what Achish was going to do. Achish was a Philistine, so he felt that he couldn't stay there. But he was already there. What was he to do? So he acted in sin. We'll read in the Bible how he acted in sin to disguise himself. And he was so good at it that Achish started scolding his servants and said, "Look, why did you bring this madman here? Remove him from my palace." Let us read about this in 1 Samuel 21, verses 10 to 15. 1 Samuel 21.
That day David fled from Saul and went to Achish, king of Gath. But the servants of Achish said to him, "Isn't this David, the king of the land? Isn't he the one they sing about in their dances? Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands." David took these words to heart and was very much afraid of Achish, the king of Gath. So he pretended to be insane in their presence, and while he was in their hands, he acted like a madman, making marks on the doors of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard. Achish said to his servants, "Look at the man. He is insane. Why bring him to me? Am I so short of madmen that you have to bring this fellow here to carry on like this in front of me? Must this man come into my house?"
So Achish basically told his servants to take the man out of his palace. So they took David out of his palace. The Bible doesn't tell us that, but we know David left because next he went to the cave of Adullam. The cave of Adullam. There he made a stronghold there, and from there we know that people started joining him. He must have sent word out that he was there, and maybe found a way to let people know that he would welcome people that wanted to join him. So we know that his brothers joined him. We know that his father's household and his father and his mother and whoever was living with his father joined him. Then a lot of people that needed relief, we read in the Bible the kind of relief these people needed. But the people that joined him were people that needed one kind of relief or the other under Saul's administration. And his initial team from this kind of people was 400 strong. Let us read about these first two verses of 1 Samuel 22.
David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam. When his brothers and his father's household heard about it, they went down to him there. All those who were in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him, and he became their leader. About 400 men were with him.
Yes, people that were discontented, people that were in debt, people that were in one type of distress or another. They joined him. Why did they join him? Because they expected some kind of help from him. They expected him to help them. So he needed help. He needed them to help him protect himself from Saul. But they needed relief, I call it, from the Saul's administration. They needed one type of relief or the other. They believed that staying with him would help them find the relief that they needed. So they were in building his team. He recognized two things. One, he needed people to help him protect himself, but he needed people that had a potential benefit from being with him. And that's what team building is about. Well, he had a problem though. He didn't want his parents. He knew that they were in danger. They couldn't stay in their home anymore because he was on the run from Saul, and Saul would probably go and take them hostage in order to find him. But he didn't want them as part of his team for whatever reason. So he needed to keep them somewhere. So he went to Mizpah, the king of Moab, at a place called Mizpah, and he requested the king to keep his parents while he tried to find his feet, tried to find out what God had for him. That's the way he put it. The king of Moab accepted, so he left his parents there. Let us read 1 Samuel 22 verses 3 to 4.
From there, David went to Mizpah in Moab, and said to the king of Moab, "Would you let my father and mother come and stay with you until I learn what God will do for me?" So he left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him as long as David was in the stronghold.
Okay, so he left his parents with the king of Moab. He knew that his parents needed to be out to some place they could be safe, but he didn't think that having them with him, you know what it is, how parents at times interfere with certain things. He just said it wasn't appropriate to have them in his team. They are his people, they are his parents, but they are not part of his team. This is one of the key things in team building. It's not everybody that is related to you or that is friendly with you can be a member of your team. When you are building a team, there are characteristics you are looking for. His parents didn't meet the characteristics to be members of his team. Of course, he needed to protect them. And that's why he went and kept them with the king of Moab. But a prophet, God, advised David that he should not stay at the cave of Adullam. He said that this stronghold would not be good for him, that he needed to move to the territory of Judah. At that time, it appeared that some crack had occurred whereby the territory of Judah sort of distanced themselves a little bit from Saul. So this prophet felt that David would be safer in the territory of Judah instead of staying in the stronghold in the cave of Adullam. So David moved to the forest of Heret. Let us read this one verse of chapter 22, verse 5.
But the prophet Gad said to David, "Do not stay in the stronghold. Go into the land of Judah." So David left and went to the forest of Heret.
The forest of Heret. Okay, so David has moved away slightly, at least from Saul. He has built a team of people to help him protect himself. He is far from Saul. In fact, at this point, Saul didn't know where he was. Saul was making inquiries, trying to determine where David was. He believed that David was laying in ambush against him. So he wanted to know where was David so that he could go after David. Then, they said Saul had a time when he was staying with his people, essentially his staff, his commanders, they were all around him. He decided to accuse them. He said, "Look, you people are all conspiring with David. What is the problem? What will David do for you? Why are you not telling me what to do? Why are you not telling me about him? David and Jonathan, my son, made a covenant, and nobody told me about it. Why didn't you people tell me? No one is concerned about me. Everybody is trying to help David to set up an ambush against me. What have I done for you people? What have I done to you people, and what do you people expect David to do for you?" Well, this type of attitude of trying to accuse everybody around him was really a desperation. Saul, we know, was afraid of David. So instead of the way he acted out his fear was to blame the people around him and say, "Hey, you people, nobody cares about me. You are all looking for an opportunity to work for David." Well, this blackmail kind of worked, because remember Doeg the Edomite that was with Ahimelech the priest at Nob when David met with Ahimelech. So Doeg stepped forward and said, "Oh yes, I saw David. He visited with Ahimelech, and Ahimelech inquired of God for him. Ahimelech gave him food and gave him weapons." So that before we see what happened next, let us read from 1 Samuel chapter 22, verses 6 to 10.
Now Saul heard that David and his men had been discovered, and Saul, spear in hand, was seated under the tamarisk tree on the hill at Gibeah, with all his officials standing around him. Saul said to them, "Listen, men of Benjamin, will the son of Jesse give all of you fields and vineyards? Will he make all of you commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds? Is that why you have all conspired against me? No one tells me when my son makes a covenant with the son of Jesse. None of you is concerned about me, or tells me that my son has incited my servant to lie in wait for me, as he does today." But Doeg the Edomite, who was standing with Saul's officials, said, "I saw the son of Jesse come to Ahimelech, son of Ahitub of Atnob. Ahimelech inquired of the Lord for him. He also gave him provisions and the sword of Goliath the Philistine."
Okay, so Saul was blackmailing his officials And this blackmail worked because Doeg the Edomite reported what he witnessed. Then the next thing is Saul invited Ahimelech. He said that Ahimelech should be brought before him. He set up a court essentially with him as the judge and jury, and he started inquiring from asking Ahimelech. He accused Ahimelech of conspiring with David against him. He said, you've conspired with David, you gave him bread, and you gave him a sword, you inquired of God for him, you conspired with David to set up an ambush against me. What is going on, Ahimelech? Well, before we look at Ahimelech's defense, let us read Saul's accusations against Ahimelech in 1 Samuel 22, verses 11 through 13.
Then the king sent for the priest Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, and his father's whole family, who were the priests of Nob, and they all came to the king. Saul said, "Listen now, son of Ahitub." "Yes, my lord," he answered. Saul said to him, "Why have you conspired against me? You and the son of Jesse, giving him bread and a sword and inquiring of God for him, so that he has rebelled against me and lies in wait for me as he does today."
Yes, I advanced too early there. He's basically accused Ahimelech and said, look, you've done all these things for David, and the outcome is that David has rebelled against me, and he now lies in wait for me in an ambush. Why have you done this? Of course, Ahimelech defended himself, and his defense was this. He said, look, I know that David is a loyal servant of Saul, and that David is in fact the king's son-in-law, which is true. David was married to the king's daughter, and David was captain of Saul's bodyguard. So whenever David comes to me, I provide for him a normal service that I provide to the household of Saul. So David, when David came to me, there was nothing unusual. What I did for him is something that I have done for him before, something that I'm supposed to do for him as a priest of this land, loyal to you, the king of the land, because David was from your household. So I did nothing unusual by inquiring of God for David, because I've done that several times previously and nothing came out of it. I don't know that you, the king, and David had any problem. So when he came to my house, I was not relating to him as somebody that had problem with Saul. Rather, I was relating to him as somebody that served Saul, because that's what I knew. Well, in every situation, that would have been enough defense. But let us read Ahimelech's defense in 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 14 to 15.
Ahimelech answered the king, "Who of all your servants is as loyal as David, the king's son-in-law, captain of your bodyguard, and highly respected in your household? Was that day the first time I inquired of God for him? Of course not. Let not the king accuse your servant or any of his father's family, for your servant knows nothing at all about his whole affair."
Well, as we know, that Ahimelech's defense would have been sufficient. But Saul wasn't really interested. All he wanted was whoever has come in contact with David, he considered an enemy, and that person must be wiped out, must be killed. He didn't care what kind of contact it was. So he sentenced Ahimelech and Ahimelech's family, the entire family, to death. He ordered his guards to kill them, to carry out the sentence right there. But his guards could not. They said, have you forgotten that this man is a priest? we cannot lift our hands and strike a priest. Then Saul turned to Doeg the Edomite. Remember, Doeg was not an Israelite, so he had no understanding of this kind of thing. For him, he was just a servant of Saul, and he would do whatever Saul told him to do. He was like a mercenary. So Doeg took his people and descended on the priests and killed 85 of them in one shot. He killed 85 priests. He destroyed the entire city of Nob. Whatever was breathing, whatever had breath there, he destroyed. But somebody escaped. Before then, let us read about this whole incident. 1 Samuel 22, verses 16 to 19.
But the king said, "You will surely die, Ahimelech, you and your father's whole family." Then the king ordered the guards at his side, "Turn and kill the priests of the Lord, because they too have sided with David. They knew he was fleeing, yet they did not tell me." But the king's officials were not willing to raise a hand to strike the priests of the Lord. The king then ordered Doeg, "You turn and strike down the priests." So Doeg the Edomite turned and struck them down. That day he killed 85 men who wore the linen ephod.
The linen ephod, 85 priests.
He also put to the sword Nob, the town of the priests, with its men and women, its children and infants, and its cattle, donkeys, and sheep.
Well, he killed everything that had breath in Nob. Killed all the priests. But the problem is there is never a perfect genocide, because Abiathar, a son of Ahimelech, escaped. And this was the priestly family. So Abiathar escaping is like one of the priests escaped. And when he was escaping, he escaped with the priestly robe, the ephod. He went to David and he joined David. And to see the difference here, as I said earlier, David, the people he welcomed to his team, he made an effort to make sure that, to show them that they can benefit from staying with him. He really thought of what he could do for them more than he knew that they would help him protect himself. He thought about that. But his focus was on what he could do with them. What he could do with them. So he told Abiathar, he said, "Stay with me. Don't be afraid. The man seeking your life is seeking mine also. Don't be afraid. The man seeking your life is seeking mine also." Which means, if you stay with me, I will protect you as you help protect me. So this is pointing out an important thing about team building, that the members of a team, in order to be a successful, in order to be an effective member of a team, somebody needs to know, to have a sense that there is something he can benefit from that team. So David tried to make this point, and this encounter, this interaction with Abiathar brings it out very clearly. He's saying, "Stay with me. I will protect you from that man, because while protecting you, I will be protecting myself if you are staying with me. If you are away from me, it will be very difficult for me to protect you. But if you are staying with me, then while I'm protecting myself, I'll be protecting you as well. Because the man that is trying to kill you is also trying to kill me." So another aspect of this is that the Nob massacre added, Saul killed 85 priests. But if you look at it the other way, he added one important member to David's team. He added a priest to David's team, because Abiathar was a member of the priestly family. he joined David only because his family was destroyed. So one of the things, if Saul had protected his people and was kind to his people, he would reduce the incentive for them to go and join David. But because of his persecution of people that were under him, he basically drove people to David without knowing it. And the case of Abiathar is actually symbolic. It's there to show the kind of things that, the way his treatment of people led these people to run and look for protection under David, become members of David's team. So Abiathar joined David. Let us read this in 1 Samuel 22, verses 20 to 23. What happened? We don't have that. Okay. We don't have that. Okay. So let us move on to the next concluding remarks. So what we have learned here is that David set up a team to protect himself from Saul after he left Saul. He needed to build a team, and to build a team, he needed some kind of food supply, he needed weapons, he needed a place where he could be as far from Saul as possible. The place he was protected from Saul. But most important, he needed people to form a team that will help protect him from Saul. But most of the people we got were people that needed relief from Saul's administration. People that felt uncomfortable, people that felt distressed one way or the other. These are the kind of people that joined David. And this brings out a key point in forming an alliance. That what makes an alliance strong is that the people that belong to the alliance can expect to benefit. That is, when you invite people to join in an alliance with you, you have to think of what you can do for them, what they will benefit, how they will benefit from the alliance. And that will be your main selling point, because you are trying to show them that you are going to do things for them, you are going to help them in several ways, and that while you are helping them, they will also help you. So people that needed relief came to David because he presented himself as somebody that could help them. He also knew that while he was helping these people, that they were also they also would be helping him. A very good illustration is the Abiathar case, where he said, look, the man that is trying to kill you is also trying to kill me, which means if you stay with me, I will protect you from this man while you are helping protect me from him. Another point is that Saul's persecution drove people to David. Before I conclude, I want to ask DC, do you have any question?
No.
No? Okay. Today has been a very short Bible study, but it's a Bible study focused on David's team building, what he did to build a team, and we hope that we can learn from this about team building, because several times in our life we may need to build teams to accomplish different things. In building a team, you need to consider what the people you are inviting to the team will benefit. How will they benefit from the team? The more people you can show that they will benefit, the more they are likely to join you. We thank God for those that will have an opportunity to participate in this Bible study sometime in the future, either by watching the video or by listening to the audio. We pray that the people will learn something that will make a positive impact on their life and bring them closer to God's purpose for their life. Thank you, and God bless you.